Greetings. I think for some reason we have an interruption. I was having live broadcast, and I'm sorry for the interruptions, the network interruptions. However, but we gotta move forward. We gotta move forward, whatever it is. But I thank all of you that are tuning in again. And this is Fonton Daniel speaking here from the great state, Texas, with the breaking news and the German Parliament. Um, what I was speaking about was the German Parliament, the Bundestag. They have asked the German government for possibility of establishing embassy in southern Cameroon territory. And this has been a breaking news, and it is coming from German. So it is very, very important that as I'm speaking here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States, uh, but before we proceed to what making news, um, uh, let's look about the happenings in Africa right now. That I'm sorry for the poor appearance of the video, but that was the Undersecretary for the U.S. For African Affairs. You all know, remember that he traveled to the neighboring country, Land Republic of Cameroon, and persuaded and hand over the document that pertain to the people, to the land public, to respect. But unfortunately, they haven't yielded to those. And there seems to be ignorance of the demand of the United States and the rest of other nations that are asking for the similar question. First, La Republic is not a colonial territory of Southern Cameroon. Neither was Southern Cameroon a conquered territory of the neighboring country, La Republic. And so we have urged La Republic to respect the terms and the boundaries of the people of Southern Cameroon. We have urged La Republic to immediately and unconditionally pull out of Southern Cameroon territory with immediate effect. I urge La Republic to take this as a serious, more than ever before. I urge La Republic in the strongest terms to respect the boundary of the Southern Cameroon. I urge La Republic to respect the boundary and the terms. It is immediately and it is unconditional. It is imperative that La Republic respect. Remember that in 1960, when La Republic got their independence, Southern Cameroon was never part of La Republic. Southern Cameroon was never part of La Republic. Southern Cameroon is a distinctive sovereign nation with a geographical boundary of its own. And therefore, I am asking La Republic and unconditionally, immediately respect, pull out of Southern Cameroon, immediately and unconditionally release all citizens of Southern Cameroon that are being held hostage. Those in the Gendarmerie Brigade headquarters in Yaoundé and in Condé and elsewhere in La Republic. I urge them to respect and release all of them. I urge La Republic. I'm sure La Republic have learned a lesson from what happened to Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi is not still speaking. Gaddafi is not. And Saddam Hussein is still not. And La Republic is the next in line. So I urge La Republic to respect the boundary of Southern Cameroon. Release all citizens pertaining to the Southern Cameroon immediately and unconditionally. Transport them back to Southern Cameroon immediately and unconditionally. Release all governors that are currently in Southern Cameroon territory. Release all of them. Release all divisional officers. Release all delegates pertaining any officials that have been appointed by a decree, whether ministerial, president, La Republic president, whatever decree signed by La Republic from Yaoundé pertain to the citizens of Southern Cameroon. I urge La Republic to release them immediately and unconditionally and allow them to move back to Southern Cameroon immediately and unconditionally. Transition all citizens of Southern Cameroon immediately. I urge the Republic to respect this term. Remember, Gaddafi is still not here today with us. I'm sure he would have loved to be with us today. Saddam Hussein would have loved to be with us today, but they are not. I urge the Republic to immediately and unconditionally respect these terms. The time, the clock is ticking. The minutes are ticking. The time is going faster than anticipated. But I urge the Republic to Cameroon. But before we proceed let's listen to the message that the Undersecretary for African Affairs that met La Republic President and still continue. For those who have ears, listen. For those who pay attention, pay close attention. For those who are not, they want to see the reality. Wait, the moment is coming sooner than anticipated. Listen to
but since Ethiopia has totally changed course, Cameroon is the country that I hear more about from members of Congress, thanks to the activity of the Cameroonian diaspora, by the way, because they definitely let their views be known. So there is, in effect, a civil war going on in the part of Cameroon, which formerly was a British colony, because Cameroon had been two former colonies, British and French.
Listen to what he says. Cameroon, what La Republique did, he stated exactly what it is. There are two colonial masters, the British and the Southern Cameroon. The British Southern Cameroon and the neighboring country, La Republique, which was France. They have over the due period of time where the resources generated are being fed La Republique and France. And the benefit doesn't get into Southern Cameroon territory. Yet we are the slave, and that our resources are being drained to feed the France and La Republique. So, but I am here to let La Republique to take this matter as crucial, more than ever before. Because when the U.S. Undersecretary continue to preach the same message, and in the same circumstances, I urge them to take note and pay close attention. Because when the clock is ticking, the minutes are also ticking. The seconds are also ticking. But the time is not on La Republic's side. Listen to the message. For those who have ear, listen. For those who have eye, see. For those who pay close attention, take notice. Look.
They came together, they voted for one country under a federation, but the federation was done away with Cameroonian president. So now the Anglophones are basically fighting for their rights, which started with very serious complaints, and unfortunately the government of Cameroon has not responded in a way that would assuage the concerns of the Cameroonians. The United States government's policy, and I'll say current policy, is to recognize the current borders of Cameroon. I'll say that's the current policy. As far
he says, that's the Undersecretary for African Affairs, the current boundary, what he simply explained is that what La Republique claimed, that is the current policy and the claim of La Republique. That is simply a message he's trying to echo. But La Republique need to respect that they don't own the boundary of Southern Cameroon. They do not, in any circumstances, La Republique do not own any boundary of Southern Cameroon. So I urge La Republique to take note and pay close attention for the message, because respect and lead, call all conditional, release all those pretend to the people of Southern Cameroon, release them uninjured, and return and Abolish all those you have and recall all of them. And that is the moment, whether you choose to do so or not. The time and the clock is ticking.
Whereas energy, something not a lot of people realize that out of the 54 countries in Africa, there are only 4 that are neither pumping nor searching for oil or gas, which means, as I said before, that it is an incredibly, incredibly rich continent. And it seems, so far, it has been incredibly rich for colonial power.
That is what he said. It's rich for colonial power, especially France. France has been draped. This is something that you don't know about it. Let's take, for example, if the United States reallocate, let's say $100,000 to the people of any people of, let's say, to Southern Cameroon or to neighboring country like Republic, guess what? That amount goes to the Caisse Communautaire Française. It doesn't go to the people of Southern Cameroon. It doesn't go to the neighboring country like Republic. It goes to the Caisse Communautaire Française. And they use to exploit Africa. And that is what he simply echoed the same message. That is what the Undersecretary for African Affairs is simply echoing the same message. The resources that generate from Africa goes to benefit France rather than the citizens and the indigenous that's supposed to benefit. Listen to the Undersecretary's message again.
First, for the governments in place, it has not been rich for the people who live there. That's something that we desperately have to change. So I know you would want me to give a different answer, but right now I can give you what the U.S. government policy is. But, you know, as I said, we have had so much good news from Africa. Last year, look what's happened in Ethiopia. Look what's happened in the Horn of Africa. Look what's happened in Angola. More recently, look what's happened in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which for the first time in its history may actually become democratic and a republic. And maybe the world's richest country may actually share some of its wealth with its own people. So look what's happened there. Look what happened yesterday in Sudan, with people power overthrowing the corrupt, bloodthirsty regime of President Omar al-Bashir. So I will just say, my next concern is Cameroon. And you know how I feel about hating the violence that's going on there. No. Thanks very much.
That was the U.S. Undersecretary for African Affairs. And he was speaking recently in a meeting that was held with citizens of Southern Cameroon, and the quest for total, complete liberation from the neighboring country like Republic of Cameroon. Let's listen to one of another top U.S. general that has spoken in similar situations. But before we go into that, let's look at the torture that is being perpetrated by La Republic military in citizens of Southern Cameroon. Watch this, and why do you think I should support that the citizens of Southern Cameroon should eat again on the same plate with the neighboring country like Republic of Cameroon? I urge you that it is over my dead body that we should again sit on the same plate and eat on the same plate with the neighboring country, La Republic of Cameroon. The citizens of Southern Cameroon has got enough of this trash that is coming from La Republic. We must move forward and we must finance our defense department. To be honest, we are at war. The citizens, I am declaring, we are at war with the neighboring country, La Republic of Cameroon. And we must finance and fund our defense department. To be honest, we have our defense department. We need to finance them. We need to fund them because we have got enough of this tragedy. Look at what the La Republic military is doing in our citizens. We are not begging. We are not a colonial territory. Before I proceed to that torture, let's look at the United Nations vote in 1961. That was the United Nations vote in 1961, recognized the distinctive sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. That vote testified. It's the same vote in 1960 that recognized the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon. Why I use the word La Republique du Cameroon is the official document entitled La Republique du Cameroon that the French colonial master presented at the United Nations. And that became the legal document of La Republique. And so therefore, when I use this, so the Southern Cameroon as a per se was never a colonial territory of La Republique. The Southern Cameroon was not a conquered territory of La Republique. We came together in what I can describe as a cohabiting relationship with La Republique. La Republique, we didn't came to this relationship as a conquered territory of La Republique. But unfortunately, La Republique has the perception that we are a conquered territory. But I am here to declare that with our people, we must finance and fund our people to liberate citizens of Southern Cameroon once and for all. And we urge La Republique to immediately and unconditionally release all citizens pertaining to the Southern Cameroon. That is La Republique torturing our citizens. You can hear, you can see the torture of the La Republique military. Our citizens, our brothers, our sisters. You can watch. You can understand that they are francophones. You can watch. You can see. You see the behavior, you can see. That's our citizens that are being tortured by La Republique. You can watch. You can watch those images and the painful our people, our citizens, our brothers are going through this terrifying behavior of the neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon. And that is why I am bringing this attention to the rest of the world community. Our people do not deserve to be treated in that carnivorous way. Our people were never a conquered territory. We have a distinctive boundary, and this behavior is never tolerated or allowed. And therefore, we are bringing this attention to the rest of the world community. Remember, French or France as a whole, per se, their intention is to drain the resources that happen to be in Southern Cameroon. And that is why they have what they call the F-Sereka. What are the F-Sereka? Or what they mostly known in Victoria. Their purpose is to finance La Republique military, to continue slaughtering our citizens so that France can take opportunity to drain the resources that is in Southern Cameroon and feed the French citizens. Why our people, our citizens, lack basically zero food to eat. Why the mineral deposits, the resources are converted to build the French authority. So, but our people, I am let the world understand this, that we must fight, we must determine, we must have one spirit. We must let France understand that the era that they use to destabilize Africa has all long gone. But I can assure our brothers that we are at war, and that when you see the neighboring country, La Republique in South Cameroon, first of all, recognize that they are our enemy. When you see any citizen of La Republique, we have asked them to immediately and unconditionally get out of Southern Cameroon and allow our citizens to take charge of their responsibility. I have asked La Republique to immediately and unconditionally pull out of Southern Cameroon immediately, because we will no longer come to this nightmare. Because you can watch the torture, This is our brothers that were being killed and dumped in the forest. You can watch. These are the daily activities of the sons and daughters of Southern Cameroon that are being killed by the neighboring country, La Republic of Cameroon. Remember, La Republic was never a conquered territory, neither a colonial territory of La Republic. But yet we find our brothers and sisters each day murdered, killed by the brutal force of La Republic. You can watch. You can watch the pain and the crying, and you feel what I can tell you. Fellow brothers, we are at war, and that the war must be fought, and that our liberation and the totally complete eradicating La Republic from our territory is very, very essential. Remember, let's listen to the top US general.
The issue on the Anglophone piece, I won't go into detail on that. I think the article plus video this morning did a very good job of explaining the history of how it got to the point where we are today. In October of 2017, when it came kind of to a head, the Anglophone states said we want to actually form our own state, the Amazonian state. There have been issues there with atrocities, issues with allegations of log war issues, and this is something that I think brings all this to a head. Over the last several months or so, the State Department has put on hold several security force assistance programs. So right before the election in October, I, with the ambassador, went and paid a visit with President Villa. We had a very direct conversation with him with regards to investigation of these atrocities, transparency of these atrocities, and appropriate battlefield behavior.
That was a top US general that was referring in 2017 that they met La Republic president, the neighboring country La Republic president. After seeing him, they specified the United States term and condition that La Republic must respect. And yet, La Republic hasn't respected any of the single term. I will urge La Republic to have respect and honor the United States conditions they have imposed. But unfortunately, La Republic doesn't pay close attention. They continue to burn homes, destroying our way of life, destroying our murder. I mean, it is horrifying images that is coming from the destruction that is being perpetrated by the neighboring country, La Republic of Cameroon. Let's take a watch. Mommy? You can see, those are homes. As you can see, those are homes in southern Cameroon that intentionally burned by La Republic military. Those are homes intentionally burnt by La Republic military. Let's watch. You can imagine those children coming home and seeing their own home burned down to ashes. You can see. You can look at the destruction. You can see. Those are basic food items. Those are basic food items. Those are food items. They intentionally got the food out from the house and placed outside and burnt into ashes. You can watch. You can watch. Just imagine having your mother and your parents and a military that you expect them to have certain disciplinary and behavior or conduct behavior. But unfortunately, La Republic military doesn't have any conduct, any civility, any value. And you expect that we should have to sit on the same bench and have a dinner with La Republic. I urge you that it is the wrong side and that we will never, in any spirit, and be on the same plate with La Republic. I urge La Republic to respect the boundary of Southern Cameroon and immediately and unconditionally pull out of Southern Cameroon territory. I urge La Republic to respect the boundary and pull out of Southern Cameroon and release all the people of Southern Cameroon, including the interim government officials that are currently languishing in La Republic jail. La Republic has no moral authority. La Republic has no moral authority in whatever circumstances to try our citizens in their territory because they have no document that allow La Republic in whatever capacity to control and triumph citizens of our Southern Cameroon. And that is why I'm bringing this attention to the world community to understand and respect the terms they voted in 1961 and recognizing the boundary of the people of Southern Cameroon. Fellow brothers and sisters, I know you are at home. You may be sleeping in the forest, but I urge you that we are in this battle for a long haul. We are in this battle for a long haul. You know what? I will continue this broadcast tomorrow.
There's tremendous interest within all